What's going on, everyone? We are back in the shop this week for another episode of Revealed. First, in the bubble screen video, we got a lot of questions from you guys asking about the floor guide and if there was one. And there is a floor guide. We had this custom made along with the track to help keep this door from swinging, since it is so large and it's offset from that track so much. It does want to tilt into the wall towards the bottom. The bottom of the door, because it's 2 layers of 3/4 with a 1/4 inch channel in between, we were able to make a 1/4 inch wide guide that could slide along that channel so that we didn't have to modify the door or add any additional track to the bottom. That floor guide is actually made from Delrin. It is a high strength plastic with low friction and it's very stable. This is going to be ideal to slide in that channel. We're not dealing with any kind of powder coat or sprayed finishes that might rub off over time with that door functioning, opening and closing. So what we did was recess this channel into the floor. The guide is an L shape, so with the bottom portion, with that base, we actually routed that into the floor so that that back side would be flush with the actual flooring. So the only thing sticking proud is that 1/4 inch fin. The fin needs to stick proud of the door in both the opening and closed positions. This is because the door travels a couple inches greater in both directions. To watch the full video of that door being installed, we'll put a link in the corner as well as in the description. You can go ahead and check that out. So bringing it back here into the shop, we've previously showed you these bifold closet doors, and we talked about another HVAC panel. We showed you this hardware. It was on just a scrap piece of rectangular sheet good that we had kicking around the shop. Now we have that panel actually fabricated. This is going into an odd location in the space. We have a roof line on either side, and the actual HVAC unit itself isn't actually centered within that space. We pulled a lot of different measurements for this, but they're actually quite difficult to make this whole thing symmetrical based off the measurements alone. So we had to go on site and actually make a cardboard template. This is going to ensure that our panel is going to fit exactly into that space. How many times can I say space in this video? Now the top, bottom, and left and right of this panel are going to be free floating in that space. They're not going to be butt up against any walls. The 2 angular pieces are going to be butt up against the wall, so we left those a little bit wider so that we can scribe them nice and tight to that angle. So if we spin this door around, we do have the hardware mounted. Everything is functioning as it should. And believe it or not, this panel is actually a lot lighter than the original test panel that we had set up on the bench. So we're not worried about having any issues with this hardware. So one of the nice things about being a home builder with a custom fabrication shop is that we can make just about anything at any time. In our Charlestown project, there's a couple of pocket doors, one of which is an exterior pocket door. A couple feet away from that exterior pocket door is the pocket door for the pantry. Now, when these doors were ordered, the field teams were ensured that the 2 doors would match, and when the pantry pocket door showed up, it did not match the exterior pocket door. So this is where it's nice to have that custom shop where we can actually fabricate the pantry door to match the exterior pocket door exactly. The goal here is that when you're standing back in the space and looking out at the 2 doors, all of the mullions line up, the panes of glass are the same size, so everything looks nice and aligned. To start this process, we reviewed all of the drawings for both pocket doors and went on site to actually measure the space, and with a lot of back and forth between the shop and the field team, we created our own set of very detailed drawings. The basic idea behind this door is we're going to have our 2 stiles, 2 rails, and a big open middle with a glass panel. There will be mullions on both sides to not only retain the glass, but also to match the exterior pocket door. The back side, the inside of the pantry door, will have the door stops with the mullions, and they will be removable. In case that glass ever breaks in the future, we can easily replace it. So to build the frame, we are starting with some LVLs. This is so that the doors will stay nice and straight. This is just the first step in that process. Once we have the LVLs cut to our final widths, we're going to go ahead and glue up some solid wood on both sides. This is going to allow us to have nice clean edges and to make a few cuts without ever having to see the layers of the LVL. Now for the mullions, we've started to make a few samples here in the shop. Neither of these are an exact match, so we're going to go ahead and get some new cutters and make sure that this profile matches the existing door perfectly. From here, we're going to skin both sides of this with an 1/8 inch MDF, and that'll give us our nice smooth flat surface for painting. And once we have all of our pieces glued up with a solid banding, then we'll go ahead and do some mortise and tenon joinery on connecting our rails and stiles. So this will give you a general idea of what that door is going to look like when we're finished. The overall width of this door will be 34 inches. And with that, we're going to have one center mullion that will run all the way down, as well as a few cross pieces. Now on each side, the interior perimeter of this door will actually have this profile cut in half, and we'll trim out the entire inside like you typically would. In doing that, we'll also cope in the cross pieces on both the ends and through the center stile. Now the backs of this, they're going to have the same profiles. They're just going to be a little bit deeper so that we can capture that glass, match the profiles on the existing exterior pocket door, and have that back frame removable so we can remove that glass in the future if it's ever needed. So the last thing I want to show you guys today is something we've been talking about here at NS Builders for a long time, and I may be letting the cat out of the bag here, but we've been talking about wanting to do a retail line, and this is actually the first product that we're working on. This is going to be a slatted vanity. I don't want to get too much into detail right now, but I will give you guys updates as we progress on this project and others like it. Now you may be wondering why these pieces are stacked up like this with some spacers in between and they're all spread out. Now this is a method called stickering, and what that is you basically are putting sticks in between all of your pieces and you're keeping them all spread apart from one another. This will allow air to flow freely to all sides of these pieces. This is especially useful when you have newly milled material. This will allow air to get around these boards on all sides and help relieve any tension or movement that is in these boards before making a final pass on them. Since you're not stacking them up, the moisture in the air can't collect in between the boards and cause some uneven tension, causing those boards to warp or cup. This is a simple and very effective method throughout the milling process. I highly recommend you take the extra couple of minutes to do this with your boards, especially if you're leaving them for an extended period of time or even overnight, especially if it's really humid in your shop. So that's going to do it for this episode of Revealed. As always, thank you for watching, and please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We'll try to get back to you guys, and eventually we'll start up our lives again. But for now, catch you on the next one. Thanks.